Yes, you're ready to go.
Okay. Good evening. Hare Krishna. Warm welcome to all of you to this systematic study of Gita session. I'll be anchoring Introduction to Bhagavad Gita, Part 2. Before I start, I will seek the blessings of my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, and my Shiksha Guru, His Grace Gauravilas Prabhuji. After paying obeisance to them, I will start with the session today. Let's look at what we did in the last class. We studied Sambandha, and today we are going to study Abhidheya and Prayojana. Now, any philosophy, be it Buddhist, Jainism, you name the philosophy, Gita, talked about Sanatana Dharma, we always have three parts. Sambandha, that is the relationship, Abhidheya, the process, Prayojana, the goal. Now, last week, Ramchandra Prabhu covered Sambandha, and today I will cover Abhidheya and Prayojana. In Madhya this is the verse which says, Veda Shastre kahe Sambandha, Abhidheya Prayojana, Krishna Krishna Bhakti Prema, Tina Mahadana. What does it mean? There are three riches that one as a human can search for, can seek. That is Krishna, Krishna's service, and love of Krishna. These are the three great riches of life. And we are today going to immerse ourselves in discovering these three truths. As I said, Sambandha, Prabhuji is already covered. What is Sambandha? Krishna is the central point of attraction. We must seek to establish eternal relationship with Krishna. What are we going to study today? Abhideya. What's the process of understanding Gita? How do we apply it? What's the result of understanding Gita? And what emerges from the study of Abhideya is the service to the Lord is our activity. If we were to say emphatically, His service is our only activity. Then comes Prayojana, result. Why are we doing all this? What is the gain? What is the result? What is the reward? That is to attain the platform of love. That is life's ultimate goal. Go back to Godhead, Golokadhama. This is what we are going to study today in detail. Before that, let's take a recap from last class. I want this session to be interactive. It's not just about me speaking and you listening. Please, to the extent possible, I'll try to make it interactive. So let's start with a question. Name 5 subject matters of Gita. And just hold on, there is a second part of the question, and that is, which of these 5 subject matters are eternal? So now what I will do, uh, this is open to all. I'm sure most of you know or all of you know the answers. So as soon as I hear the answer, I will flash the answer on my screen. Now you can unmute yourselves and tell me the 5 subject matters of Gita. Over to you. Any
Hare Krishna.
answers? Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Please go ahead.
Who is God? Who is God? Who am I?
So,
Prakriti, Kala, and Karma.
perfect. So Jagdisha, Ishvara is the first subject matter. Jiva, that is we, human being, all living beings. Prakriti. One second. Prakriti is the material nature. 4, rightly as you said, Mataji, Kala, time. And Karma, action and reaction. Wonderful. Very happy with the answer. Now comes the second part, the question. Can anyone tell me? Let's go one by one. Is Jagdisha, that is Ishvara, the Supreme Lord, is he eternal or is he not eternal? That is the question. Who will go first?
He is eternal.
Perfect. Thank you. Second, Jiva.
What I would suggest is whoever wants to answer, they can raise their hand by the virtual hand is there, so that it will be very orderly. Otherwise, maybe we'll not know who wants to answer first. So please make it a practice to raise the hand, so that then Prabhuji can ask the relevant person who's raised the hand. Would that be a good proposition, Prabhu?
That's right.
Thank you.
Now, how do I see whether who has raised his hand? I'm not able to see that in this view.
You need to press that. Have you kept your participant this active on the side? Then you can see that names also they're coming.
Okay.
You
Let
have
me see.
which view are you on? Are you on gallery view or you're on speakers view?
I can only, let me say, grid video, thumbnail video. Shall I go to thumbnail? Okay.
No, no, no.
Huh?
You just have to select the view where you can see that gallery. Otherwise, you can leave it to me. Let them raise their hand. I will just give them the.
Perfect.
You just focus on the slides. No problem.
Fine, fine, fine. Jiva, is it eternal or not eternal? Any answers?
Yes, Tiruvaya has raised the hand first, so we'll go with her.
Eternal.
Yeah.
That's right. Eternal. Very good. Okay. Next. Why is this not working? Prakriti, is it eternal or not eternal? Who is going to go with the answer?
Chetana has raised her hand.
Go ahead, Mataji.
Prakriti as materials is non-eternal.
So
As
you say,
material nature is non-eternal.
okay, no, that's not the right answer. Now I have to give you the right answer. It is eternal. You will be surprised why. We'll go and discover it later. Kala, any guesses?
Yes, Anusha Mataji has raised her hand.
Go ahead,
It's
Mataji.
eternal. Eternal,
Perfect.
Prabhuji.
That's the right answer. Now, karma, action and reaction. Is it eternal or not eternal?
Chintamani Mataji.
It is not eternal.
That's the right answer. So I'm happy that all of you have listened to the last session quite seriously, and most of you have got the answers right. So this is the foundation of understanding Gita. So with this recap, let's move forward. So what did Shyamchandra Prabhu cover in the last class? He covered Sambandha, Gyan. He talked about spirit of Gita. What's the spirit of Gita? That is spirit of devotion. Helps to understand Krishna. He is the supreme Lord. He is the creator, maintainer, destroyer. What is the purpose of Gita? Most of us are seeking for answers. How do we come out of the miseries of this world? And purpose of Gita is precisely that. Deliver mankind from nescience of material existence. Relieve us from all material anxieties. Then, 5 subject matters of Gita, which we just went through now. We will cover this in the next slide again because this is so important. Process of understanding Gita. Vedic knowledge is infallible, complete, above all doubts and mistakes. So once we study Gita, you don't have to have any doubts, no interpretations, no judgment. Just accept it as the absolute truth. That's the beauty of Vedic knowledge. This, as I mentioned, we will cover these 5 truths because one, this is my most favorite slide of Gita, and this is the foundation of learning Gita. Why are we talking about relationship with Krishna? What is the reason for that? So in these 5 subject matters, first is Jagadisha, Ishvara. Who is he? He is the creator, maintainer, destroyer. And he is conscious of all the universes, the entire creation. He knows each and every one of us because he is present within us as Paramatma. Jiva, we are Jivatma. What is our relationship with the Lord? That is what Gita is trying to teach us. And what is the qualification of a Jiva? He is conscious of his own self. What are we trying to endeavor? Try and establish an attachment to Ishvara. How do we do it? through the process of yoga. In fact, in the last class, there was a question. Why do we say yoga should be used to establish attachment to Jagdisha? The simple reason is the basic and the fundamental definition of yoga is how do we establish relationship with the Lord? So he, in the Gita, tells Arjuna 3 types of yoga. So yoga is the path to establish a relationship with Krishna, Jagdisha. Third subject matter, Prakriti, material universe, also known as Jagat. It consists of 3 modes of nature. It has no consciousness. And this is also known as Mahamaya, illusion. How does the Lord control this Prakriti and the Jiva? That is through the Kala, time. Nobody can stop time even for a millisecond. That is the power of the Lord. He controls the entire creation. And people ask, can I see God? He is with you every living minute, every living breath. Hold your breath for a second and see where Lord is. You can see him. Karma. How does Jiva attach itself to Prakriti? It is through karma. If we get this understanding right, then we know what is the path that Krishna is asking Arjuna and all of us, entire humanity, to follow. And as Jiva, what is our weakness? We are in this lifetime on the path of repeated birth and death. Any form of life in this world, in this universe, you could be an animal, elephant, shark, whale, human, scientist, whatever, you are going to die. So if we have to come out of this repeated cycle of birth and death, that is the knowledge that Krishna is sharing with Arjuna. What do we do? So magic mantra of Gita is detached from the material world, detached from the Prakriti, detached from the Jagat, and attached to Jagdisha. These are the 2 mantras of Gita. Simple understanding. This is also known as Tattvatraya. Jiva, Jagat, Jagdisha. Consciousness is Jiva, Jagat is matter, and Jagdisha is the absolute truth. What do we gain by attaching ourselves to Jagdisha and detaching from Jagat? We get liberation, mukti. We will never be born again in this world if we are able to follow the footsteps that Krishna has laid out for us. And I mentioned, Krishna also defines the various kinds of yoga one could adopt depending on our constitutional position, our swarupa. It could be karma yoga, jnana yoga, and bhakti yoga. So with this brief recap, we move to the session of today. What is that? Abhideya, the result of understanding Bhagavad Gita. Now you may be wondering why I have put this para 30 to 49. That is, if you were to open Bhagavad Gita as it is, you will find a reference to Abhideya starting from this paragraph. What do we study today? What is this process? What does this process entail? We learn this from the experience of Arjuna. What does Arjuna say in the last verse of Gita, in the 18th chapter? We will see that as we go ahead. If we follow this path, if we follow this message, if we follow this love song of God, what will we get? What's the prayojana? The destination is all of us who apply Bhagavad Gita principles, where Krishna makes that also clear. He also gives us a brief understanding and I would say a wholesome understanding of what is the difference between material and spiritual world. Now, these are very deep concepts. What we are going to do today is just touch upon understanding. How do we approach this subject? Let's not try to chew more than we can digest. We will understand that, yes, there is a major difference between material and spiritual. Are we really striving for the right purpose in life? This is what is going to be the focus of today. What is the relationship between Jiva, living entity, supreme law, spiritual world, and our relationships are all eternal? That's what we are going to learn today. And we discover that service to the Lord is Sanatana Dharma. There are many definitions, many misunderstandings, misconceptions about Sanatana Dharma. So we will cover that in brief today. It gives us a fundamental understanding of what Sanatana Dharma is. So if we understand Bhagavad Gita, which we are going to study in detail going forward, which process we are covering today, we will understand Sanatana Dharma, what is Sanatana Dharma, and our loyalty towards Sanatana Dharma gets revived. That is perfection of life. So Abhideya is an important part of understanding Gita. Let's start with what did Arjuna experience? In the first chapter, as we all know, what did Arjuna do? He says, I am confused, O Krishna. I don't know whether I should fight or I should not fight. And he's saying this after reaching the center of the battlefield, which is really shocking. Imagine we go to an examination hall, as Prabhuji described in the last class, and then suddenly remembering that, oh, I don't remember anything. That's a frightening moment. And Arjuna is telling Krishna openly, putting his arrow down, bow and arrow down, and saying, I will not fight. And he has made his decision. He's not asking Krishna, shall I fight or I will not fight? He says, I will not fight, Krishna. This is many of the times we also face this decision, and we may tend to take the same decision as Arjuna, not to fight. Let's give up. No. Krishna says, oh Arjuna, I am speaking Gita to you. Change your view. There is no need for you to give up. All that you have described to me, that they are my relations, they are my grandfather, he is my guru. How can I kill Dronacharya? Are all an understanding which is half cooked, half baked. He goes through Gita, tell Arjuna what is the essence of understanding, what is knowledge, and what's the result. There is devotional surrender. Arjuna is one of the greatest devotees of Krishna. We take his name and we try to think that we are in the same boat as Arjuna. No. But devotee like Arjuna got confused, got bewildered, decided not to fight. But then what did he do after listening to Gita? That's the power of the song of God. He wholeheartedly surrendered to Krishna and said, oh Krishna, I will do what you say. He says in 18.73, Arjuna Vacha, Nashtamoho Smrutir Labdha, Vat Prasadamaya Chuta, Hito Asmigata Sandeha, Harishe Vachanam Tava. If there are three takeaway words today at the end of this class, they are these. Harishe Vachanam Tava. Arjuna said, my dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. I am now firm and free from doubt, and I am prepared to act according to your instructions. That is the bottom line. Surrender to Krishna and say that, Karishe Vachanam Tava, I will do as you say. That's acceptance. That's surrender. That's what we should be taking home, saying that I will do this whenever I'm faced with difficult situations in my life. I will look up to Dharma. I will look up to Gita's message and follow the path. What is the final destination? If we have to move towards the final destinations, we'll have to change ourselves. We cannot get something new by doing what we have done all the time. We must endeavor to change, endeavor to reflect, endeavor to imbibe. That's the process of learning. And that's what we are setting out to do today. So we are very clearly told by Krishna that this material jagat, universe, is controlled by three modes. Whatever you wish to do, whatever you don't wish to do, it is not in our control. There are three modes which are constantly acting, that is Rajasic, Sattvic, Tamas. Now, what should be our endeavor? When we know that this is fait accompli, we are under the influence, and it is equal to all. We are told by Krishna in Gita that we must aim to be moving towards Sattva. The journey is move away from Rajas and Tamas towards Sattva. Of course, you can step above Sattva to get into transcendental position, but that is at a later stage. As beginners, what we can do, move away from Tamas, give up our tendency to be lazy, postponing, I'll do it tomorrow whenever it suits me. Oh, I'll read Gita after I retire. All those things is the right time. Just have that interest, have that desire. That's it. We are taught to be passionate in this material world. If I study, I want to come first. If I'm working, I must get a promotion. I always want to be better. Now that is passionate mode. It is not going to take you too far. Maybe in the material world, the success yardstick may say that you have done better than me. This is fine. Says be balanced. Move away from passion to sattva. So the first takeaway lesson for us is that I will stop being sick. I will stop being passionate. I will stop comparing. I will do what I can do the best. That is in my hands and nothing more than that. So that is the great takeaway in this part of Abhidheya process. What should I do? I should move away from Rajasic, Tamasic tendencies towards Sattvic tendencies. You will be surprised to note that there is a detailed session on food habits to help us in this journey. Because if we have to reach our final destination, these are the subtle changes that we must bring amidst us, amongst us, within us. Food habits are key enablers. Again, I'm just touching upon the concept. I'm not getting into the details because we will need many, many more hours to do that. Gita says, please remember, please understand three kinds of food stuff that exists in this material world. Tamasic, all the non-vegetarian, alcohol, smoking stuff. Rajasic, very, very tangy, that kind of food. Sattvic is vegetarian, fruit. That is should be our goal. Move away from tamasic, rajasic food towards sattvic because our goal is to qualify ourselves to reach the final destination. Let's see how moving from tamas, rajas to sattva and following the right food habits will take us, will give us that qualification to reach the final destination. So the aim of Gita is, he says, Krishna says very clearly, please adopt sattvic food style. So what we must do, what is the takeaway? It may be difficult. I'm not saying it is easy for a minute, but then if we are students of Gita, we must try to see how we can bring about the change within us. Let's move further. Contrast between material and spiritual world. I think you have seen this slide in the last class too. Here, what is Krishna saying? In the material world, everything is temporary. It follows six-step process. Birth, you reach the stage of an adult, you get into reproduction, you reach middle age, old age, and death. And as the slide shows, you could be a king, you could be anyone, whatever may be your position in this world, the inevitable death is going to happen. This material world is temporary. So why strive to excel in this temporary world? Let's try to excel to gain in qualities which appear difficult to try and qualify ourselves to move to the spiritual world. That is the message. And until and unless we become aware what is to be done, what is not to be done, it becomes difficult. Gita is something which is exotic. No, Gita is as simple as it can be, provided you understand the concepts. And that's what we are setting out to do. And what is this final destination? What is the spiritual world? It is called Goloka Vrindavana. You can speak hours together in Goloka Vrindavana, but no, I am only saying that this is the abode of the Lord. And there is a sloka where he says, he describes his own Goloka. He says, that supreme abode of mine is not illuminated by sun or moon, nor by fire or electricity. Those who reach this abode of mine never return to this material world. Underline this line. Never return to this material world. What should be our final destination as students of Gita? We want to step away from this material world and we will see going forward what is this material world. It is vast. It is not easy to get away from the material world. So we must make ourselves qualify, purify ourselves to ensure that we go away from this material universe to reach that final destination so that we never come back again into this material world which has repeated life. And this is what should be our aim. Reach Goloka Vrindavan. We will see It's not that I'm giving you a concept which you really don't know how to understand, how to connect. No, we will go through that in the coming slide. Now, what's the relationship between living entity, supreme law, spiritual world? And these are all eternal. And what is it called? It is called Sanatana Dharma. Means Sanatana Dharma is a very, very easy concept if you understand it from perspective of what Gita is talking about. Ramanujacharya explains Sanatana as that which has neither beginning nor end. Now, there is a lot of misconception, understanding or misunderstanding Sanatana Dharma to be Hindu. It is not talking about a religion. It is not about faith. Because a religion can be changed, a faith can be changed. Beyond that, we will see what is Sanatana Dharma going forward in depth. Now, what does the Lord do? He comes to this material world to reclaim us. And I'm sure if all of us are aware of this avatars of Vishnu, every yuga, Krishna is with us in one avatar or other, try and retrieve us and take us back to Goloka. I found this very interesting. Someone said, true love has a habit of coming back. And this is so much applicable to Krishna, who loves us so dearly. He says, I come back in every yuga, sometimes as Krishna, sometimes as Chaitanya or holy name, to make you fall in love with me again. That is his endeavor. And as Jiva, who are part of, we are Atma, he is Paramatma. So we are part of him. So we must recognize and reflect within ourselves that what is that I have done? What is that I have forgotten to be in this position? Gita is that Bible, that manual of life which will help me recollect, refresh my lost understanding of who am I. What is my fundamental constitution? Why am I here? It's the purpose of learning Gita. And once we learn that, the whole process becomes simple and easy. Let's see what is this small clip about Sanatana Dharma. Let's hope technology. Can you hear?
No, Prabhu, the volume is not coming audio. So maybe
I will.
you need to activate the volume at the time of sharing.
Now I have activated.
For borders were drawn. This is not a religion.
Can you?
It's a way of life, older than time, eternal,
Yes, now we can hear.
unbreakable.
Okay.
Before borders were drawn, before names were written, there was Sanatana Dharma, a code of truth whispered through the Vedas, a roar of courage in the Bhagavad Gita, the fire in Agni, the stillness in Shiva. It's the Dharma that made Arjuna raise his bow, that made Ram walk the forest for truth, that made sages burn brighter than kings. From the cosmic dance of Nataraja to the silence of a meditating yogi in the Himalayas, Sanatana Dharma doesn't ask you to believe blindly. It asks you to experience, to awaken, to become one with the universe. This is not mythology. This is our legacy. This is not past. This is eternal. This is Sanatana Dharma. It flows in your veins. It echoes in the mantras. It lives in the soul of Bharat. Awaken, remember, rise.
This is Sanatana Dharma in a very short and crisp form. That which is eternal, that which cannot be changed. It is Sanatana Dharma. And we are all constituents of the Sanatana Dharma. We must understand, recollect, refresh, and reconnect with our basic. Now, I have just put this slide to bring home this message. Service to the Lord is Sanatana Dharma. That is our basic constitutional position, as we will see going ahead. So we must try to be adopting the mood of service. It's when sacrifice, that's when surrender happens. Prabhupada says one can understand the Supreme Personality as he is only by devotional service. Please understand, there is no other way of understanding the Lord. And when he is in full consciousness of the Supreme Lord, by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. So we must understand, we must inculcate, we must desire, we must have interest, we must make the effort, try and engage ourselves in service to the Supreme Lord. It's not that we just go to the temple, offer our prayers, worship the Lord, and come back home. This is just one part, one limb of what we can do. What is that you have with you, which you can sacrifice for the Lord? Have you seen how a mother and child relationship is in this world? Mother gives, child accepts, and child surrenders. Child never questions mother, why you give me little milk, why you give me more milk. It is the faith of the child in its mother and its parents is absolute. That is the way we should be. We should say that I have been given so many good things in life: a good education, a good family, a good job, a good family. Everything is right with us. Then why don't we start inculcating that mood of service? Can I do something when I go to the temple? For example, one of the sevas that I like is to serve prasad. One of the smallest work that I can do. I do it. And since I'm interested, I search for that opportunity. Each one of us have the same interest. I recollect I was in Amritsar visiting the Golden Temple. And there's a huge rush of people who look after the footwear of all devotees who come to the Golden Temple. Because the belief is, if you can look after the footwear of the devotees, you are doing service to the Lord. What does it show? It shows you have given up your ego. Looking after footwear is not one of the most glamorous services that you can do. What can you look forward? But there is a huge queue of people wanting to do that. What does this show? It shows I want to serve. When you serve the devotees, you are serving the Lord. The Lord is more happy when you serve the devotees than serve Him. So you can serve the Lord through the devotees. We should take this home as a message. By understanding Gita, our principles, our understanding of Sanatana Dharma gets revived. And that's when our journey towards perfection of life starts. Now, every living entity is a servant by constitution. If I say this, I'm sure many of you will say, why do you say this, Prabhuji? Let's look at this example. I'm sure you can recognize this cartoon. He's a politician. What is he saying? I have a manifesto. Every election he comes and says, I will do this for you. He makes desperate promises. That's a politician. What is the essence of this? I want to serve my constituency. So a politician, however big he may be the prime minister, chief minister, minister, what have you. His loud message is, I want to serve my constituency. Let's look at the shopkeeper. What does the shopkeeper want to do? He wants to serve his customers. What do we as doctors, lawyers, engineers, whatever profession we are in, want to do? We want to look after the family. We want to keep our family happy. We all live in a state, so we want to serve the state. Each of the state is a constituent of the nation, so we want to serve our country. So what is the common factor which runs through all these things? It is service. Each one of us is serving someone or the other for our livelihood. So that's the reason why I said every living entity is a servant by constitution. No living being is exempt from rendering service to other living beings. You may be anyone. Could be Ambani, Adani, but you have to serve others. What is the conclusion of this? Rendering of service is the eternal religion of living beings. If we are going to do this in the material world for material gain, material pressures, material position, material wealth, fame, why don't we do this for eternal fame? It's the essence of Gita learning. That's the process towards perfection of life. So I am coming back to the fundamental takeaway. Sanatana Dharma refers to that activity which cannot be changed. And what is that? It is rendering service to the Supreme Lord. Somehow, somewhere, we have forgotten the basic constitutional duty as human beings. So going through scriptures like Gita, understand and revive our connect with Sanatana Dharma. That's why the title of this slide is Our Connection with Sanatana Dharma Gets Revived, gets strengthened. Now, like Sanatana Dharma, we also have a Swarupa. That is, what is Swarupa in short? That's our constitutional position. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Swarupa of every living being, irrespective of who you are, whichever strata of society you come from, rich, poor, middle age, it doesn't matter, old, young, infant. The Swarupa is we must render service to the Lord. That is our DNA. You cannot change it. Lord is the enjoyer and we are his servitors. That's the fundamental principle of our living being, as a living being, as Jiva. What is the essence of knowing what is our Swarupa? If this is our constitution, then let's get into engaging ourselves into rendering service to Krishna. That's the motivation to serve Lord Krishna. All happiness in the material world has a beginning and an end. Happiness in serving Krishna is ultimate and there is no end. So, whatever time we are spending together as association of devotees today is to understand this Sanatan Dharma and try and say that I will do what is required. I'll bring out the changes in my lifestyle to try and follow the path shown to us by Krishna in Gita. We cannot become happy otherwise or independently. However much we may try, you may get a good job, you may get a good wife, you may have the best of children, intelligent, well placed, well settled. You have house, bolta na, gadi, bangla, everything. But are you happy? The moment you acquire one material thing, you start craving for something else. So this is endless. So if we have to understand that there is a limitation to whatever success we achieve in the material world, it says we cannot be happy independently. And all of us are seeking happiness, all of us are seeking peace. And that is possible only through service to the Lord. So don't try to do it yourself. Do it as a service to the Lord. Happiness will come on its own as an outcome. Now, further few concepts to create awareness, knowledge, jnana. Many of us are not aware of this until and unless we read Gita and understand the message of Gita. Now, this is not to say this is right or wrong, but this is the message of the Lord. And as I said, Veda is absolute truth. You cannot challenge, you cannot interpret. What does this verse say in 7th chapter? Krishna says, Kamai stai stai rutagnana prapadyante anya devataha tam tam niyamam atthaya prakritya niyata swaya. He says, those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desires surrender unto demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own natures. In short, what Krishna is saying that if you are an intelligent person, you try to serve me. If you are not an intelligent person, you are free to serve any demigod of your choice. I will not stop you. Krishna is not saying that if you don't serve me, I will do this. I will not do this. No. He says, I'm giving you the choice. Make the right choice. Now, is there anything wrong in worshipping demigod? Krishna doesn't say that. Krishna says, you have lesser intelligence. You are motivated by selfish material desires. That is why we go and do Satyanarayana Puja, Navagraha Homa, Navagraha Shanti. We go to Ganesha, Saraswati, Ayyappa, Vaishno Devi. You name all the demigods in the world because we know that if we approach them, if we worship them, they will give us blessings to be happy in the material world. Our whole purpose, our whole effort to understand Gita is to move away from the material world. Then why should you ask for a benediction to be happy in the material world? So this is the message I want to leave with you. Demigod worship will only keep us happy in the material world. If we have to move away towards the ultimate destination, then we have to move away from demigod worship to worship of the Supreme Lord, Krishna. Now, we are all searching. Why are we worshipping demigods? Basically, because we want happiness. Krishna says, Anandamaya Abhyasa. This is the Vedanta Sutra. Krishna is the supreme personality of happiness. He is perpetually happy. Have you ever seen Krishna? He lived for more than 125 years in this world. He never appeared unhappy at any point in time. So, if we are seeking happiness, let's seek it in Krishna because he is perpetually happy. If our parents are perpetually happy, we also can be perpetually happy. How? By associating, by serving him. Now, the abode of Lord Krishna is described in Bhagavad Gita. Now, most of us have heard of Swargaloka. Our knowledge doesn't go beyond that. We say that we'll have to go to heaven if we do a good pious day. I want to bring home this concept of Golok Vrindavana. So this is the Lord's abode. This is where he lives. It is located in Vaikunta. Goloka means the world of cows. The word and the name Vrindavana comes from Vrindavana. We will see more about Golok Vrindavana as we go. So that is the final destination. It is beyond Vaikunta. The next slides will make it clear. Why should we go to Vrindavana? I have brought this up in the title itself. No rebirth again. Very simple. I'm not talking about immense happiness, long life. You have no death, no birth. No rebirth at all. So you don't have to come back to any of these material planets, material universes in any form. Prabhuji described about 8.4 million species of life. So we don't have to come back to any of them in this material world. Now I'm showing you a very complicated chart, so I'll make it very simple. You'll just see 4 points in them. There are 4 stages before we can, or the 4 stages Goloka. So first is Devidam. What does Devidam comprise of? Excuse me. It has 14 planetary systems, 7 upper planets, 7 lower planets. Let's not get into the details. We are only interested in what should we be doing. Cross the Devidam, then comes Mahesh Dham. This is Kailasa. That's where Lord Shiva lives. We go to Haridham. That's where Lord Vishnu lives. Narayana lives. Goloka. That's above Haridham. That's where Krishna lives. So our journey, our endeavor by studying Gita and applying the principles of Gita is to move from this, where we are in the Bhuloka, to Goloka. Now, there is a very brief description in this video which talks about the various stages, describes Vaikuntha.
Beyond the temporary material world, which is full of suffering, is the eternal spiritual sky. And before you enter in the spiritual sky is the Sadashiva Loka, which separates the material world to the eternal spiritual sky, which is known as the Kailasha. And beyond that is the Brahmajyoti, the bodily effulgence of the personality of Godhead. And beyond that is the unlimited Vaikuntha Loka. Vaikuntha planets are not just one planet but unlimited planets, when each and every planet resides the eternal form of Vishnu in all his various incarnations. This Vaikuntha is a place free from all anxieties. And beyond Vaikuntha Loka is the eternal Ayodhya Dham, the divine residence of Sita and Rama. And the supermost planet of the spiritual sky is...
So the video stops just when it comes to Goloka. Now let's see what is Goloka. Now this is a small song from surprisingly, this is a video. I don't know why it's not playing. Okay, let's park this. I'm not able to get the technology support. This is the description of Goloka from Brahma Samhita. It's a very nice musical video, but then unfortunately, is it playing, Prabhuji?
Prabhu, it started playing now.
Ishvara Parama Krishna
You can hear the voice.
Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam Chintamani Prakara Sadma Sukalpa
Surprisingly, I can't hear the video, so I'm asking you.
Lakshavriteshu Surabhira Vipalayantam Lakshmi Sahasra Shata Sambrama Sevyamanam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Venum Kvanantam Aravinda Dalayataksham बर्हावतं समसिताम्बुदसुन्दराङ्गम् कन्दर्पकोटिकमनीयविशेषशोभम्
Was
गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं
now
तमहं
the concept I want to touch
भजामि
upon is principle of
Prabhu, the song is still going on. Entire Brahma Samhita is going on.
आलोलचन्द्रकलसद्वनमाल्यवंशी रत्नाङ्गदं
This another
प्रणयकेलिकलाविलासम् श्यामं त्रिभङ्गललितं नियतप्रकाशम् गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि अङ्गानि यस्य सकलेन्द्रियवृत्तिमन्ति पश्यन्ति पान्ति कलयन्ति चिरं जगन्ति आनन्दचिन्मयसदुज्ज्वलविग्रहस्य गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि अद्वैतमच्युतमनादिमनन्तरूपम् आद्यं पुराणपुरुषं नवयौवनं च वेदेषु दुर्लभमदुर्लभमात्मभक्तौ
description of Goloka.
गोविन्द
So attractive, words will fail to describe. Krishna is saying openly, I am here to welcome you back to Godhead. All that we need to do is inculcate the changes. We have collected a lot of dirt, contamination, born out of many lifetimes. So we should cleanse ourselves, follow the path of Gita, and then we can go back to Goloka. The next principle I want to touch upon is principle of transmigration. This is most important. Why should we follow the path of Dharma? Why should we be operating in the mode of Tattva? Basically because whatever we do in this life is our calling ticket for our next life. If we can do what Krishna has asked us to do, follow that path, however difficult it is, in the initial stages it will be difficult, then we can step away from this repeated cycle of birth and death. So we don't want to be born again. That should be our goal. And yes, one is to have the goal. It's like saying, I want to be an engineer from IIT. Does it come easy? No, you'll have to go through so many qualifying processes. Similarly, if I have the goal as that I have to go back to Goloka, then I will have to make the attempt to bring the desired changes within me. So transmigration is a live concept, and we are responsible for what we are going to be born as in the next life. So we should ensure that if we do wrong things, like Prabhuji said in the last class, if you don't teach your children dharma, then someone else will teach them adharma. So we should inculcate that need within us to change, follow the right path. With that, we have come to the end of Abhidheya. We'll now come to Prayojana. What is Prayojana? To attain the platform of love is life's ultimate goal. What is the process given to go back to Godhead? I'm not talking about E is equal to MC squared. You don't have to remember any formula. Just remember the Lord. And Krishna is so beautiful, it is not very difficult to remember him. Remember him all the time. And he says one particular thing. You know how clever Krishna is. He says, if you remember me at the time of death, you will come back to me. Understand the difference between material energy and spiritual energy. And we must transfer our mind from material energy to spiritual energy. How do we do that? We will see as we go ahead. Gita teaches step by step. It says, absorb your mind and intelligence in thoughts of the Lord. Now, you may be wondering, oh, well, it's so easy to talk about this, Prabhuji, but can you show me how to do it? Now, I will share this example because I have illustrious colleague, partner, senior devotee, Shyam Prabhu, myself. We have done our best in the material corporate world. We have worked for the best companies. We have had a fully engaging, fully tied up material careers. But that did not stop us from trying to understand what is our true constitutional position. We did our efforts to absorb our mind and intelligence in the thoughts of the Lord. Did it come in the way of our excelling in the job? Not at all. So you can all do it if you want to do it. Senses follow the mind and intelligence naturally. So if you decide to follow the path of righteousness, you will follow the path of righteousness. If you say that I will take shortcut, you will end up taking shortcut. So this is what Gita is saying. Absorb your mind and intelligence in the Lord. Train your senses, follow your mind and intelligence. How do you train your senses? Through a bona fide spiritual master. Two, we ourselves can read under Gita, can understand Gita, but the understanding, the enlightenment which is there in the Gita is more clearly visible to us if we follow the path from a bona fide spiritual master. That's why I started by saying my prayers and invoking the blessings of my Guru Maharaj. Whatever knowledge I have with me, whatever I'm sharing, saying, is everything word to word from Bhagavad Gita as it is. There's not a single word of interpretation or addition. So what are we going to study? Summarizing, process given to go back to Godhead. What is the Godhead? Gaulu Kundavana. Remember Krishna at the time of death. Transfer mind from material energy to spiritual energy. What does Gita teach us? Absorb the mind and intelligence in the thoughts of the Lord. Make your senses follow your mind and intelligence by training them by devotional service. Approach a bona fide spiritual master and serve him. Art of living. Prabhuji in the last class talked about Gita teaches us two things. Art of living in this world, art of leaving this world. Now, the prayojana is, we can go back to Golok Vrindavana if we only do this. Just see how simple Krishna has made it. He says, Antakale chamameva smaran muktva kalevaram na prayati samad bhavam yati nasti attukam shayaha. And whoever at the end of his life quits his body, remembering me alone, once attains my nature. Of this, there is no doubt. But the question here is, if I have not remembered Krishna all through my life, when I am apparently very busy trying to be famous, rich in this material world, how will I remember Krishna at the time of death? It is easier said than done. So what Krishna is very subtly telling you, I'll make the process easy, provided you follow the path from the beginning. So if you have chanted his name, been in the association of devotees, have engaged yourself in the service of the Lord, then automatically your thoughts will be around Krishna at that critical moment when we leave this body. Most of us have seen, I will read this verse and then tell you what happens when we are in that last stage. In this verse, which is 8 chapter 6 verse, following this verse, it says, Yam yam vapi sparam bhavum tejati ante kalevaram tam tam evaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitaha. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, that state he will attain without fail. So whatever is your thought, now what happens in the material world, let's say we are not a victim of an accident where we have no time to react. If we have the natural process of death, then we'll be surrounded by our relatives, near loved ones, dear ones. And then the thought that will be passing through our mind is that, oh, who will look after my wife? How will my children be without me, etc., etc. Now, these are all material thoughts. What Krishna is saying, please remember me at that crucial moment, at that critical moment. And there is this very famous story, if all of you must have heard. Bharat Maharaj is one of the greatest kings of Bharatvarsha, our nation. And he was a great devotee of the Lord. He, at the peak of success, renounced everything and retired to the forest to engage in silent prayers to the Lord. Such an exalted devotee, once, when he was sitting in his ashram and chanting, saw a tiger chasing a deer which was pregnant, and the deer was running for its dear life. And it was by the riverside, and the tiger was about to pounce on the deer. Out of fear, it delivered the baby deer, jumped into the river, and died. And this great devotee, Bharat Maharaj, took pity. Any devotee is compassionate. He took a lot of, he felt, how can this small deer live in this world? Then he took up the deer, brought it to the ashram, looked after it, and, he developed an attachment to it. And you see how costly this entire episode happened. One day, he was walking by the riverside, he fell and he was about to leave his body. At that time, instead of remembering Krishna, he thought, what will happen to this baby deer? And he died. And what happened? This great devotee who had spent his entire life trying to serve the Lord make one mistake of remembering the deer at the time of his death, and he was born as a deer in his next life. So that is the importance of Marana Muktva Kalevaram. At the time of death, oh Lord, please help me to remember you and not any of my close relatives, not a small deer, nothing. It should be only us and Krishna. That is our prayer. That should be our endeavor. If we follow this desire, prepare for it throughout our life, maybe Krishna will take his mercy on us, give his blessings, and we will be able to remember him at the time of death. Transfer your mind from material energy to spiritual energy. And Krishna says, I will not read the verse because I'm conscious of time. I'll just read the English translation. He says, therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna. Who is saying this? Krishna is saying this. And at the same time, carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. He has never said, renounce, retire to the forest, and sit there in solitude praying to me. No. Continue your prescribed duty of fighting. If Arjuna is a Kshatriya, he has to fight. We are in our own corporate world, we have to work and do our best. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. That is the mantra. Whatever we do, we should do it for Krishna. And he says, Evaishyasi asamshayaha. There is no doubt I am guaranteeing the result. That is the assurance of Krishna. So we have to dedicate ourselves to doing everything for Krishna. The most famous verse of Gita. Yat karoshi yad asnasi yat juhoshi dadashi yat tapashyasi kaunteya tat kurushya mad arpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do those as an offering to me. If I am having my breakfast, first offer it to the Lord and eat. Is it difficult? No. It is a change of mindset. We should say that I will bring Krishna first and follow him in my life. How to remember Krishna constantly? This is, I'm sure, chanting his name. Now, many people have this doubt, or they say that it's a very difficult process, Prabhuji. How can I chant 108 times? It is very difficult to concentrate. Chanting, Krishna himself says, of the sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy name, japa. And this is what he says in 10.25. So, Srila Prabhupada has given us this easy process. Chant Krishna's name, then you are remembering him constantly. And this is a nice video.
The chanting of the holy name. The Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is not what purifies us. What purifies us is how much do we hear what we have chanted. That's what purifies. Therefore, Prabhupada said, only two things required: chant with the tongue, hear with the ear. That's all. So we should give importance to hearing.
That is the mantra, Krishna, constantly. Now, how to engage in Lord's service? There is a 9-stage process. I'll quickly run through them. Most of us have heard this. First step is have faith. If you have Shraddha, the next thing will follow. Sangha, Sadhu Sangha. Today we are together to listen to Gita for an hour. This is association of devotees. Try to find this equation more and more. Bhajana Kriya, performance of devotional service. It could be chanting, could be kirtan, it could be serving in the temple. You choose what you can do within your means. 4, Anartha Nivrutti. By doing all this, what is happening? You are purifying yourself. You are spending that time from material pursuit, spiritual pursuit. You can step away from unwanted habits. If you do this continuously, you will have steadiness, nishtha. That is stage 5. If I have been chanting for the last 12 years, so what does it do? It has brought steadiness in my life. Now, I am still not there at that level of ruchi. So we must hope and pray that with Krishna's blessings, we develop that higher taste. That is the stage where without only chanting is the life. We don't have to do anything else. That should be the stage we should reach. What does Srila Prabhupada do or Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj do? Every minute they find a free time, they will start chanting. That should be our goal. If you do this, you will have Prabha. You will develop that love of Godhead and prema, in pure love of Krishna. So this is how we can purify ourselves by engaging in service. What is that service? That is devotional service. Move to the next slide. We should approach a bona fide spiritual master. Now, this is yet another video, but I'll skip it because of time constraints. So, what is the essence is choose the guru who is from the parampara and who will tell you what is there in the scriptures, what is there in Gita, without a word of addition or a word of subtraction. Transmigration. Now, this is another very important concept. So, I mentioned to you, yes, we are assured of our next life depending on what we do. Krishna says, I'll just read one verse here so that you understand what is the power behind this. Krishna says, those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. So we should decide what we should do. Those who worship the ancestors are Pitrus, our forefathers, go back to the ancestors. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings. And those who worship me will live with me. So the essence of this is we must do whatever possible in this world so that we don't come back to the material world and enter the spiritual sky. Summary. Let's see if this works. Take it to Yes, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhu, we can hear.
I just want to show one part of it. It's playing, na?
Yeah, did you stop now? It is stopped now.
Stopped, is it?
Yeah, now it is started again.
Right.
वेद शास्त्र कहे संबंध अविधेय प्रयोजन कृष्ण प्राप्त संबंध भक्ति प्राप्तिर साधन. Now, what is the subject matter of this Vedic scripture? That is summarily summarized by Lord Chaitanya. Ved Shastra kahe sambandha, avideya, prayojan. There are three things in the Vedic scripture. What is that? The first thing is, what is my relationship with God?
Whatever we have talked about.
Or what is my relationship with this world? Or what is my relationship with this nature? This thing is described. Then, as soon as you understand your relationship, then your action begins according to, just like two businessmen. So they want to do some business. They want to do mutually, they want to do some business. And what is the aim of business? To make some profit. Both of them are interested in making some profit. Without profit, there is no question of business. So first, if the profit is aimed, then the two business first come to a contract or agreement. This is called sambandha, relationship. Yes, you are supplier, I am purchaser. And he is supplying this way, I shall purchase this. The agreement. This is called relationship. And after the sign of the agreement, when actually the activities begin, supply and purchase, that is called avideya. And avideya means why they are doing this business? For some profit. So the profit, that must be, otherwise nobody interested. The same thing is there also in the Veda.
So this is the summary.
First of all, you have to understand
details.
What is
So
my
it is-
relationship with
this is
God or
exactly
this
what we have
world or
covered
the
so far.
nature? We must understand first.
Sambandha,
this.
Avideya, Prayojana.
And
Sambandha,
when we
Krishna is the central
understand
point
this,
of attraction.
this is my
Eternal
relationship, then
relationship
my
Krishna with
actual
Krishna
work
is what
will
we should
be.
strive for.
That is Avidya.
Videya, the process,
And after
service is our activity.
executing
In fact, I would
that
define it as this service
prescribed
is our
duty,
only activity.
the result
To
is
attain the platform of
that
love is
I
life
get
continuing.
my
Now, this is a video which Mataji had shared in the same group, which shows the divinity of Gita. The entire aircraft crashed, not a single or maybe one survivor. Everything was lost. Gita is safe. So that is a living example of the divinity of Gita. Today, one can refer to such a that is the miracle of and I just say only follows the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, one can be freed from all miseries and anxieties in this life. And one's next life will be spiritual. So we are not only working for this life, we are working for our next life. So dear Krishna, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for everything. And I find this, I found a song. If you will be patient for maybe 2 minutes, we will all listen. This is good for the youngsters. It's in the hip hop form.
Lord, hurry, I've wasted my time. Got this human life, but missed the divine. Radha and Krishna never gave him my praise. Now I'm stuck in this poison, lost in a haze. Why'd I drink it? I knew it was wrong. Chasing the world when I should have been strong. Goloka's love came down in sound, chanting Hari's name where I should have been found. But I didn't feel the pull, didn't hear the call. Now my heart's burning, I've been through it all. Why, oh why did I never see Hari's name was the key to set me free? Krishna is Chaitanya, one in the same. Balarama is Nitai, it loves holy flame. They lifted up the low, the lost, the weak. Jagai and Mad, I found what we seek. The holy name saves, it cleanses the soul. Why'd I miss the chance, why wasn't I whole? Goloka's love came down in sound, chanting Hari's name where I should have been found. But I didn't feel the pull, didn't hear the call. Now my heart's burning, I've been through it all. Why, oh why did I never see Hari's name was the key to set me free? Oh Krishna, son of Nanda, please hear my cry. I need your mercy, don't let me slide by your lotus feet. I long to stay. Without you, Lord, I've lost my way. Goloka's love came down in sound, chanting Hari's name where I should have been found. But I didn't feel the pull, didn't hear the call. Now my heart's burning, I've been through it all. Why, oh why did I never see Hari's name was the key to set me free? I am praying, don't push me aside. You're my only hope, my eternal guide. Lord Hari, I've wasted my days, but now I'm here singing your praise.
That's it. Thank you. If there are any questions, I have overshot by 11 minutes. My apologies.
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for a wonderful session. And the ending was very nice. Hari's name is the key to set us free. So nice. And so before we take questions, and we would like to take questions by a proper raise of hand. Anybody who's keen to ask questions or even offer comments can just raise their hand on the virtual screen. And before we go to that, I just wanted to announce that with this, we conclude the 2 sessions of the introduction part. Introduction was actually is quite elaborate, and I think a lot of credit to our Shyam Sundar Rauji for making it so concise and presenting it so well. And so now we are ready to take off in the next session with the chapters. So the first chapter begins next Saturday. So and there's going to be, this is only a trailer what we saw. So definitely there's lots more going to come in wisdom. So with this, we go over to the participants who want to ask any questions. Please raise your hand on the virtual screen. And also a gentle reminder for everyone who doesn't have the Bhagavad Gita as it is book by Srila Prabhupada, please kindly ensure to get it. And last week, Shyam Sundar Rauji had also volunteered to sponsor for those who want. He'll directly have it delivered in the residence. So please ensure that you get it soon, because there are a lot of purpose has got a lot of substance, realization of enlightenment of Srila Prabhupada. And from that, we are only trying to bring it in the form of slides. For your own self-reading, you should be reading this book also. Yes, Anusha, she has raised her hand. Anusha Mataji, please go ahead with a question.
Over to you, Anusha Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for the enlightening class. We understood it in a very relatable manner. Like paragraph-wise, you had put on the points in the PPT. It was very much relatable, Prabhuji. Can't thank you enough for that. My doubt was with respect to the compassion part which you were mentioning. So generally as Vaishnavas or devotees or even as normal human beings, we tend to feel compassionate towards others when, during a time of crisis or something. But the point is, like you had mentioned about Bharat Maharaj, at the time of death, he was remembering the deer and everything, and the next Janma, because out of over compassion, or if I would put it in this way, that he was carried away by the thoughts of compassion. So what is the fine line of difference where we should stop it? Because we as natural human beings, we have emotions. We cannot control that. We definitely feel compassion and everything. But what is the line where we should leave it, the point where we should leave it all to Krishna, so that it does not get over into our consciousness? Hare Krishna. I'm sorry if the question was out of place.
No worries, no worries. Good question, Mataji. All of us have this doubt, and Atato Brahma Jigyasa. We must have doubts, we must ask questions. The answer is simple. The compassion to any living being other than Krishna should be limited. So, of course, we do tend to flow with the flow, but then we must caution, control our emotions to say that I will stop. I know that now I'm old. I know that I have few years left. And my compassion will be more towards Krishna than to anyone else. It is a choice between Madhava or Manava. So you should decide. I would rather vote for Madhava than Manava. Does it make sense, Mataji?
We'll definitely remember this, Prabhuji. I'm going to write it down and stick it in my whatever. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, sir.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you. I see Varsha Kumari also has raised her hand. Go ahead, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for this wonderful class. Prabhuji, my doubt was like, as we had seen in the verse, that Krishna says, whoever comes to my abode doesn't return. But I had just this curiosity that we are told na ki in starting we were with Krishna and we then end with Krishna and then we came to this material world. So how then this shloka fits there, that we have came from the abode only, and also if in future after going back to Godhead again, if we end with again Krishna, so we will again come back to this world, or I have heard this many times, but I didn't got clarification. So out of curiosity, I wanted to ask. Sorry if I didn't
Okay,
put the
Mataji.
question right.
Okay. First, let me tell you what is the understanding of your question. The understanding is, if you go back to Goloka, you will have no birth again in this material world. That is what Krishna said. But then you also have instances where, like Jai Vijaya, they come back because they were cursed by 4 Kumaras. So that is Leela. Anyone who comes back from Goloka into this material world to play a specific role is ordained by the Lord. So that should be the understanding. It is not that they are coming here because of their choice. It is because of Lord's choice. Hope I have answered the question, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji, but Prabhuji, I was asking something different. Like I was asking that in the beginning, we are told like, that all the jivas were with Krishna, and then we entered Krishna, and then we came to this material world. But how is that possible that when we were in that abode with Krishna, how can we come back from that abode? As it's mentioned that nobody comes back from there. And also, I wanted to ask that if we again end with Krishna, like we went back home back to Godhead, but somehow this desire again came back. So we will be again punished to this material world, or this is my question.
Okay. Well, now the question is very what you can say, fundamental, complex, deep. But I can only share the answer from my understanding. All of us were in Goloka, but we have come back to this material world because we had material desires. We felt we can enjoy independently like Krishna does. So we made this mistake and asked Krishna, can I go back, or can I have a world where I will also enjoy like you? Then Krishna said, Tadastu. You come here, you go into the material world, experience this world for yourself, go through the species, 8.4 million species of life, and then you decide whether you are better off in Goloka or you are better off in this material world. That's why we are here. It's our choice.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. I see Chetana. Hi, Chetana. Hare Krishna. Go ahead with your question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for an enriching session. It's always a pleasure to hear you discourse on the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. I must say that I was privileged to hear you in your last monthly sessions which you used to conduct, and it's really nice that the frequency has been increased. So for us to stay in touch with what was done earlier, and you know what is going to take place in that session, the gap is less. So it might be easier to recollect, because the gap of 1 month was हाँ हो जाएगा कर लेंगे. So there was no that was one point. Another, this is not a question, Prabhuji. I'm just adding to Anusha Mataji's point. I always remember when you spoke of this incident of the deer, when Bharat Maharaj remembered the little deer just before he died. I always remember the story of Ajamila, who does nothing during, I mean, he does all sorts of atrocities during his life, and he calls out to Narayana, his son, but Narayana, the Lord, comes to and he attains, Ajamila attains moksha because of Narayana, the Lord. So it is only the Lord's compassion that will get us there. Not and it is true that we have to get used to keeping on chanting his name throughout our lives. So
very well.
That is the only yeah, that's the only thing I wanted to say. No questions. Every time we listen to a discourse on the Gita, we learn something new, and we try to retain our mudha intellect tries to retain something, and we should try to act on the teachings throughout our lives.
Thank you so much. And
Thank you,
yes,
Prabhuji, so much.
thank you very much. Wonderful. See, I gave you an example where compassion towards deer made Bharata become a deer. You have given an example which is also from the scriptures where Ajamila remembers his son's name under Narayana. So what did Krishna say? Yam yam vapi smaran bhava. So he remembered Narayana even though accidentally or not by serious devotion, incidentally, but the power of the Lord's name is so high that he went back to Vaikuntha. So that's another example of if you remember Krishna, if you remember Narayana at the time of death, you will go back to Vaikuntha or Goloka. So my example is now complete by you bringing in Ajamila. Thank you. I see Tiravya Varadarajan Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna,
Mataji.
Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Oh, sorry, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much for the class. My question was, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that if one remembers Krishna at the time of death, he goes back to Godhead. So what if a person who has not been following the regulative principles throughout his life, but somehow or other, maybe someone in his family is a devotee, so he is made to remember Krishna at the time of death. Will he go back to Godhead?
See, the answer is yes, because Krishna says, if you remember me, you come back to me. Now, the only point that we should try to reflect upon is, can we remember Krishna at the time of death if we have not remembered him throughout our life? That's the question. And if we were to follow the science of a habit is one which comes to us unconsciously. We do it without even knowing that we are doing it. It's like driving. It's like swimming. It's like cycling. But how did we reach there? Because we learned cycling, we learned swimming, we learned driving. So similarly, if you don't learn remembering Krishna, then the chances of your remembering Krishna is at best 50-50. And I'm being very generous. It may be even further less than that. Chances are very, very less because we are always preoccupied with material thoughts. So can you push these thoughts away in that few seconds that you are having in your hand and remember Krishna? It is easier said than done. I would say, as a sincere devotee, a sadhaka, I will pray to Krishna that, oh Krishna, I will do my best throughout my living lifetime to remember you. And at the time of my death, you please give me the strength that I am able to remember you. Because it requires His mercy. That's my answer, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. I don't see any more raised hands.
Yes, Prabhu. Then maybe we can wind up for the day.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. Thank you for your wonderful participation. Look forward to meeting all of you next Saturday, where we start chapter 1. The first 10 verses will be anchored by my dear devotee friend Shyam Prabhuji, and we will go through all the 18 chapters systematically. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Enjoy the rest part of the day, evening.
Thank you, and have a nice weekend tomorrow in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. So I'm closing the session now.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes.